What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the broader markets, and why NIO now has some upside potential looking at the current setup if we hold above some key levels. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. Anyways, as far as NIO is going, I just want to mention that right now we're doing a good job at holding up. There's also a lot of attention coming for the ES6. We're seeing that at least so far. And I think that this is going to be very, very bullish for the longer term because once again, we're seeing a big improvement in their sales. And with other pieces of data coming out, that could greatly affect how this is going to be moving. There's been a lot of comparisons being made recently between NIO and Xpeng. Keep in mind, NIO is expecting a Q3 deliveries range between 87 and 91,000 units, which is going to show a year-over-year growth of 40.7 to 47.1%. That's very, very awesome. Also, their August deliveries were up 55% to about 31,000 units, which is quite bullish. Other analysts, such as others, did raise their price targets on NIO. Mizuho's analysts have done that, and we are seeing some bullish ratings coming out, at least thus far. Also, it's getting a moderate buy rating from Wall Street, at least as far as I'm seeing, which is more good news as well, at least for investors. Now, comparing it to like Xpeng, like I personally don't like comparing all these different EVs. Xpeng has been doing very, very well as well. They're both great companies in their own regards, but keep in mind that NIO has a lower value in terms of its dollar amount, and that could open the doors for more potential upside. For example, if NIO just pumps a couple of points higher, that could return 50 to 100% returns compared to Xpeng, which would need at least a $10 return, double digit returns in terms of points, at least to achieve similar numbers. So if Xpeng's at $25, we need to see that the share price go up to over $37 for us to get a 50% return, whereas for NIO it just has to go up $3 from $6 to $9 to get that 50% return, which is why in some ways, because NIO has a lower share price right now, it's a lot more lucrative, and this could help investors make a lot of money. But of course, both companies are good in their own ways. I'm not here to really bash anyone. I just want to be very unbiased about that. Now, as far as NIO is going, let me just mention that we have a nice left shoulder, head, and right shoulder forming for an inverse head and shoulders. As long as 6.16 holds, we could be looking for a attempt for 6.6 for a nice push right back up. On top of this, Freedom Capital Markets is still maintaining a hold rating on NIO, a slight downgrade. The price-risk ratio is starting to climb a little bit, which is a decent sign. When it comes to seasonality, we're seeing more green on Wednesdays. We're actually green about 55% of the time on Wednesdays, and that's all we're seeing essentially for now. When it comes to other factors, right now we also had the non-farm payrolls annual revision. This was below what we saw previously, and this is what caused the market to dip only to bounce back up. And then for tomorrow, we have big data coming up. We have PPI data coming out in the morning. That's wholesale inflation. We're expecting the month over month to be at 0.3 to 0.4%. And then on core, 0.4 to 0.3% as well. For all items, we're expecting 3.5 to 3.6%, or 3.3 and 3.4% and 3.5% for core. That's all for year over year. Basically, we're expecting a more tame number compared to before, almost the same numbers as before, except on a month over month basis. That could be beneficial to markets to some extent. The last time PPI came out, it was quite hot, so we're going to see if we get a decent one. This could once again improve the numbers we see right here. Are we about to see the odds of a 50% cut, or 50 basis point cut, to go up, or do we continue to see heavier odds for a 25 basis point cut? Now, the White House, once again, is saying that with the numbers coming out, they're not really happy about how things are being reported, at least so far. And then with these numbers, President Trump is telling Jerome Powell to cut again. The same thing we've seen before. That's what we're essentially seeing, at least thus far. And that's going to be very, very important. Finally, when it comes to other pieces of data, keep in mind the dollar has been dipping a little bit alongside our treasury yields as a result of the jobs numbers. And we'll see what that leads to, at least moving forward. So as far as NIO is going, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure, and this could try to go a little bit higher. As long as 6.17 holds, I do expect this to start pushing for 6.6 very soon. I think we push in the morning, then we're going to see if we reject or not, depending on our PPI numbers. But NIO has upside potential, so long as we don't end up losing any support. On SPY, we're looking bullish. We're going to be testing the all-time high. We'll see if this breaks for new all-time highs depending on PPI, or if we turn back down below 650 to dip. As of right now, we're favoring all-time highs, maybe a break if it's temporarily, and we could be looking for 655. The QQQ is looking bullish as long as we don't lose 580. We're favoring essentially 582 to 584. So new all-time highs in the QQQ. I think we're going to be testing this all-time high up here. And I think 583 plus is likely coming. The IWM is dipping. We're going to see if we can hold 236. If not, we could be dipping lower. But if we hold above this, we're looking for a bigger bounce. So this is actually a little bit weaker than SPY and the QQQ. Could this be a sign we're about to see a pullback? We'll see, just to be safe. On ES, we're looking bullish. We're favoring 65.50 as our potential target. NQ is looking more bullish. We're going to be favoring 23,900 to 24,000 as our targets. As long as 23,750 does not fail us, we could be pushing even more. Bitcoin's looking decent. As long as we hold above 111,000, we're going to be favoring a move back up to 112,500. Tesla is also holding up quite nicely. If we lose 344, we're going to be dumping back down. As long as we hold this support, we could consolidate in this range before trying to push for 350. For Nvda, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders right here. We're going to see if we slowly uptrend for essentially 178. There's a good chance it tries to bounce a little bit more. Apple's dipping a bit after their big event. Could dip to 230 before it tries to bounce. For a few more, Supermicro's trying to break out right now, looking for 44 plus as our potential target. We're seeing a lot of chip stops starting to bounce. I could be looking for 160 plus on AMD. And then for Coinbase, we're going to see if we try to push up to this resistance around 322. Amazon's also going to be favoring 240. And Meta is going to be favoring a push for about 770. So for now, the market does look more bullish. Google's favoring the 240s. And then we also have Microsoft favoring 502 plus. So for now, the market's looking more bullish as the VIX is dipping. So there might be some upside tomorrow upon open. But I would be careful afterwards. We're going to likely try to make new all-time highs for the broader markets. But it does depend on PPI. So be careful just to be safe. And we'll see if we get some kind of rejection or resistance or not. But NIO has an inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour, and the daily is looking a bit more bullish to me. So we're favoring a push for 6.4 to 6.6. And I do think NIO is going to try to bounce a lot higher. So keep that in mind. I thank you all so much for listening. Have an awesome rest of your guys' days. And just know that for now, although NIO is not making massive moves, we did make a big move in the past. And on the daily, we're forming a nice flag right here. So this could be indicative of more upside to come. So if you look at this, this could eventually try to break out higher soon. And we could be looking for the 7s in the upcoming weeks. We have NIO Day, then our next, couple of deliveries reports. I think NIO is looking very optimistic. And we could be looking for double digits quite easily next year, in my opinion, if this continues. So far, I remain very optimistic, and I can't wait to see what else the future holds for NIO stock. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a very awesome rest of your guys' days, nights, or evenings, wherever you guys are around the world. NIO is holding up nicely, so I expect the most likely possibility 6.4 and then 6.6 for tomorrow. It does depend on some data coming out. We also have our PPI data report, so we'll see what happens with that. But for now, NIO and the markets do look like they want to go a little bit higher. All right, thank you for listening. Have a good one, and peace out.